I will save this file as a new file. And we saw yesterday the position, and we will come back to position again after a few days with some other projects in the position. Right now, we'll do some other thing in the CSS. So let's create some div. I'll give the class to the div, for example, container, and I will put some text on it. Hello world, how are you? I'll put some content on this div, and here I will give some class to container, and we'll see some different properties of the CSS and some additional properties. And I'll go to the CSS panel and I'll click the plus new rule, or I'll click the container, I'll click the edit rule. Now we have we will see all this quickly, all these which is given in the Dreamweaver. I can change the font of this text. For example, I can say this is a font. So you will see the font is changed, and here in the CSS we see font family equal to different fonts are mentioned here, and it will check one by one. It will first find Vardhana. If Vardhana is not there, it will find Arial. If Arial is not there, it will find this on the system, and if this is also not there, it will go with this sans serif font. So this is the group of fonts which goes one by one. So if in the computer Vardhana is installed, they will show Vardhana. Otherwise Arial, otherwise Helvetica, otherwise sans serif font will be displayed. I can change the font to different size, different, maybe Georgia, and I'll apply. So this is the Georgia. I like Vardhana better than anything, so let's keep the Vardhana. I can change the size. I can say 12 size, so it will be little smaller. I can say 36, so it will be bigger. I can change the weight. Weight is something bold. If I want to make bold, how much bold I want to make? 400 will be particular bold. 300, let's make little 600, so it is more bold. Let's make it 900. So it's a bold kind of thing. So different weight we can give. And I can say simply bold. So though there is minor difference, there is not difference much between 600 and 900. So you can, generally we give bold when we want to make it bold. Otherwise I will say normal. I can change the style. Style is something I want to make italic. So I can make italic, and oblique is also italic like. So if either I choose italic or either I choose oblique, it is one and the same thing. Okay, let's check it normal and see it's a normal. Let's put enter another line. This is CSS class. Okay, so now I will edit the CSS, and I will say line height equal to some value. For example, I say 50 pixel. So line height is height of particular line. Let's say I say 500 pixel. So you will see difference in the, let's see. Yeah, so let's run in the browser to see what is the difference. The line height is basically the height between the two lines. So if I refresh this page, okay, let's see where is that another one gone. Let's make it 100 pixel. Okay, so this is 100 pixels, so it is near. Let's say if I put 50 pixels, so it will be little more closer. So the line height is something which is the space between the two lines. Let's remove it for now. Just we saw what is the line height. And if I say underline, so all will be underlined. If I say overline, it will be overline, which is not visible in this, but we can see in the browser, because overline doesn't come here. So let's run this in the browser. So this is the overline, that is the line on the top. Dreamweaver, you cannot see it overline here. And if you see the CSS, it is called the text decoration overline or text decoration underline. So we have the key called as text decoration. Let's change it to line through. Line through will put the line through on the line, and it is called text decoration line through. If I say blink, so it's saying text decoration blink, and it will blink. So if you want to see, refresh it. Okay, let's check it. Okay, it's not blinking. Maybe, let's see. Okay, it's saying it should blink and it's not blinking. I think maybe they have removed blink kind of thing in the new browser version. In olden days when I used to work in CSS, it was blinking. So I will see why it's not blinking. I'll check the document whether what is the reason blinking is not happening, because initially when it came, it was blinking. Maybe it is supported in some browser. I have to check it whether why blinking is not happening. So let's remove the blinking, and if I say none, it will say text decoration none. So why none is used? I could have removed this part. Can you tell me why I have to use text decoration none?
So when you do a hyperlink, it doesn't have an underline?
Right. So when in case of hyperlink, it gives a default line below the hyperlink. So to remove that link, we need to use the text decoration. Okay, so this part is done. Let's move to a different part, background. So we'll change the background and see how the background looks. Okay, so this changes the background of the div container. We can choose any color, or we can choose image also. Let's see if we have image. Let's see if I have. Let's see what is this. Apply. Okay, so I put some image, and this is going the background. I can say no repeat. If I say no repeat, it will only appear once. It will not repeat. Otherwise, if I say repeat, that means it will, whatever background image is there, if it is size is over, it will again create that image till to cover the whole of the div. So if I say no repeat, that means it will give only, it will draw only one time and rest all spaces empty. If I say repeat X, so it will repeat only X axis and not the Y axis. And if I say repeat Y, it will repeat only the Y axis and not the X axis. Let's okay, no repeat or repeat. And these three things we will do some other time. For now, I don't want to go into these three types. Let's go to the block column. Let's put the word spacing. For example, I will put 25 pic pixels. Apply. Sorry, this image should be removed. Okay, so word spacing, let's put little more. So, okay, let's try to run it in the browser. So you will see between two words we have so much spacing. This is because I put word spacing of 100 pixel. Let's say if I put word spacing of 50 pixel, you will see less spacing. So if you want to increase the spacing between the words, you can use word spacing. There is another one called a letter spacing. Let's remove the word spacing, and letter spacing, let's put 25 pixel. So now if I open it in the browser, it's coming old copy. Okay, so it is giving the spacing between the two letters. It is giving spacing between the two letters. Let's reduce it to, let's say, 5 pixel maybe. Okay, so it is giving the space what we are putting the space here. It's called the letter spacing. Okay, so now let's go to the block. Vertical alignment. So I need to create some examples of the vertical alignment because I need to, it's like if you have a table, you can align the text to that up or down level. So let's write down that this we will do some other time because I need to create some examples to really make you understand what is the vertical alignment is. Let's go with other simple stuff today, and otherwise this I need to create some examples. Let's put the text align. If I put right side, so it is aligned on the right side. It is aligned on the right side. If I say center align, it will be aligned to the center. If I say justify, it will be justify. It is similar to the Word document, and here we can say text align, justify, text align left or text align right. Text indent, let's put 25 pixel of indent. You will see the text is indented little bit on the right side. It is called indent. So let's put little more indentation. So it gives more indentation here. So this is called indentation. That means we give left side more space, and that's the reason it goes to the little bit space on the left side. This is used to create some, let's say if you want to move the text little bit right, then you use this one. Okay, let's go to this container and let's edit it. Let's go to the block one and let's remove the text indent. Now, okay, let's go to the white space. I really don't know white space. So I'll check this white space. I never used this white space. I need to find more examples on the white space. So we'll do this white space some other time when you know, it's never been used by me in any of the case. So we'll get back to I'll get back to this white space part. Display. So display generally we use is inline or block or list item. So these three display we use. Kerry, you remember you created some display with table and table column, table cell. Yeah, generally we never use that table and table column. The reason is that if you want to use table and table column, we would have created a table instead of doing the div. So with the div, we generally don't use this table or table row or column, but you can use it as you have used in that example. You can use it. So generally we use display as inline or block or list item. Rest others we don't use it. Uh, so right now I can only explain you these three items which we generally use. Rest all you can go through the documentation in the W3 school and check back or some other website. But practically I never used all these kind of things. So inline, we have seen display inline. Display inline means they will behave like a span. But since I created a new paragraph, so that's the reason this is coming in new line. But if I give the border, you will see style is solid. It's a 5 pixel color black. So it is giving like a span view. But if I change the block to block level, so it will take the whole of the div because it is now block level. Otherwise inline is only particular to, it will behave like a span tag. So this is the block level. List item is you won't see any difference right now here. List item is should be behave like yeah, it's not doing anything. List item is not doing anything. So let's do list item some other time because few things is something I haven't used practically. I'm not sure all the features of this display, but I'll get back to you whichever I missed today because all these things I haven't gone through each and every item, but I will go through each and every item some other time. Box we already saw. We can give the width, we can give the height, we can give the float, left, right, or none, and we can give the clear. Since we created the float one, we have to clear it. So I can use the clear. Padding I can use either top, right, bottom, left, or I can give the all size same padding or margin. So what is the difference between margin and padding?
I think margin is on the outside and padding is on the inside.
Yeah, margin is outside of the border and padding is on the inside of the border, but it's outside of the content. This is a border. Border is something we give the style, which style you want, dotted, double, dash, dotted, groove, ridge, inset, outset. You can give the width and you can give the color in the border. List type, you can choose if it is a list. For example, let's create one list. Apple, mango, banana. For example, if I give this list and I give this list kind of type and I give okay, if I give If I want to give some changes in this list type, I can say disk type or circle. Then you will see this list type is changed to circle. I can say square, then it will change to square. If I say decimal, decimal will not come. Disk type, it will come apply. It will show some disk type. And if I convert this from UL to OL, then I can use some different, different disk types. Let's see. So this is decimal 1, 2, 3 like this. Lower Roman, upper Roman. So these are different types of list types are there. Or if I want to remove, I can use none. I can use the image also instead of this list type. For example, if I use this purple and if I apply, you will see the image is used instead of the normal list type. I can say inside and I can say outside. So right now it is outside. That means these dots are outside this apple line. But when I say inside, this dot will move inside. That is, it will touch this apple line. So this is called inside. So this is normal positioning. So we saw the position is a 4 type: absolute, fixed, relative, static. So once I say position absolute, I can define the width and height. And we saw this positioning. We saw this positioning yesterday, and this whole week we were doing the positioning. So right now we'll not go into detail of positioning, and rest whatever the items are pending, like Z index or overflow, or we have extensions. We will do this on Monday. And whatever I missed today, like text, word white spacing, I will create some examples of this white spacing also. I will create some examples of vertical spacing, and we'll do this pending item on Monday. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
What about like Google Web Fonts? Are Google Web Fonts used at all?
Yeah. So the thing is that previously you can only use the fonts which you have in your computer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With CSS3, they created something that you can use any other font also. Okay. And then even though the font does not exist on your system, but with CSS3 capacity, you can get any fonts available on your website. So Google Fonts created many of these fonts kind of thing, and they give the link which you can use to change the fonts. So for example, let's say let's go and we have to copy the code. Let's say if you like this font kind of thing, you have to go inside it, and then let's say no, and there will be option to download. We can download and we can let me see where I can download. So we will get a link for each font which we have to include in our page, and that will be then our page can use that that font. Let's see which is that one. Okay, let's call this one. This is the example. I will copy this one part which they have given, and I will paste it in my page, and then I can put in the font family the name of this one. So for example, my body should have this font. So all the text will be getting this font. Okay, let's remove all other CSS. So you will see the fonts are using it. So though this font is not in my system, previously what happened, we should have the font in our system, then only we can use it. But now you can use Google Fonts and you can use them even though it doesn't exist in your system. Is that clear?
Yeah, so it works on like all
All
like
the
responsively and on all the
Yeah,
tablets and phones.
right. This font is really very nice, making the web beautiful. See how nice font is this. Okay, so you got the idea, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
similarly, we have other companies also. This is one of them is Google Fonts, and we have different fonts kind of thing for I don't remember the name, but I'll we have very icons, font icons. What it is called?
A font awesome?
Yeah, font awesome, right? You are so we can use this font awesome also, which we will use in our Bootstrap project maybe sometime later. So here generally you can get these icons for your website. So for example, you can put this one. I was showing yesterday file link in our link reminder project. So we can take this as a and we can make this link and people can download file link. They will see this kind of icon, but we can download it. So these are some examples we can check. So if you want to use this one, just add this one in your page. It will look like this one. If you want this animated icon, just include this one, and it will load like this. So it is if you want to rotate also, to flip the icon, you can do that. You can use this font. You can increase the size of this one font, so it looks like an image, but it is not the image. It is kind of font.
And you need
Okay,
to add the text up in the head.
you have to add this one. Let's say you want to show this one, so you have to use this part. And if you don't want to type this, just don't type this one. Put only this part, so it will only display this font part. And to use this, we need to download it. So let's download it. We can do that. It will not work without download. So we need to download it. So let's download it and we can use it.
Oh, I thought it was kind of like Bootstrap where you put the link like in the head part
Mm-hmm.
um of the page. But you
So
also have to download it?
Bootstrap.
I thought it was similar like how you just put the link up in the head part of your page and then
Yeah,
you can use the fonts.
yeah. The thing is that in Font Awesome, you need these fonts in your directory.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will not work. So you need to, copy, download it, and then use it.
Okay.
So let's put in the folder. Okay. I will put in project 17. I'll just put here. And then I will go here, change the project to project 17, and we'll go to the fonts. Okay, so now I will create one file, for example 1.html, and delete the Google one, and I'll maybe use this one, CSS folder, and inside CSS folder a font awesome, use this one, and then okay, then let's use one of the fonts. So if I want to use, for example, this one, let's try this one. So I can use it. Now main thing is you can do manipulation in the CSS of this one. So for example, I can say color of blue, so it goes blue color, border color, let's say red. It's not border. Okay, we have to give the class to this one, sorry. So border is not applying. So let's say color blue will goes to this small part. If you want to apply to the bigger part, you can say color blue here. So it is all blue now. You have to give the both the places. You have to give the you have to give the CSS. Let's try some more. Font size. If I say 48 pixel, not growing. It's not growing. Let's see. Did it grow? Yeah, it goes. Let's change let's change the inner one also. Increase the size of inner one. Or maybe you can say 50 pixel. Or there is another way. Let's see if they have given something. They give some, there is some more thing we can add. Yeah, let's use this one, 5x. So it will automatically be in the bigger size. I'm increasing the size through font size. It is not behaving like properly. This also didn't behave properly. So we need to do some manipulation on each one if you want to increase, though it's not, or we can use only the top one to show we can show the bottom one and we can increase the size whatever we want. Okay, now this looks good. So if we want border, we have to manipulate it more, or we have to check the documentation, how big, how to make the big with the border kind of thing. But if you want to make individual big, you can directly make it big. And if you're making it yourself, you need to, give some time to adjust both the things properly. Background doesn't work here. So you can give the color. So you can choose any font which you want, and they have lot of icons available. Lot of icons you can use in your website. Make it bigger, make it smaller. Play with it, kind of thing, and change the color. Use it wherever where you want to use it. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the cheat sheet too, the Font Awesome IO, like if you put cheat sheet in, because it gives like the code.
Right. Everyone will give the code. Like, if you want a code for this one, just click it. You will get the code. This is the one you have to edit.
Like I just put it in chat.
Yeah. Okay. Cheat sheet. Okay. Let's see what is this. Okay. Yeah, it's directly giving the name here only. It's a lot of icons are there, and here we see limited one. Yeah, this one is nice. Cheat sheet is nice. We can use that one, right? So I have used in couple of projects. Maybe let me see if I can show you where I have used it. Okay, let me find the place. I have used it very nicely in one of the projects which we can use. I'm just trying to find the place so you can see that one. This is my server. I'm going into the server to see where I kept that one. Oh, not this one. I have projects. Fab. Yeah, there are so many folders. I need to find out 1 second. It's a very nice thing I have used. Just I don't remember the exact folder name. What is that folder name? The demo. Yeah, too difficult to find from here. Okay, I will find out and I'll let you know. Let's see if I can find services readme. Yeah, it's difficult to find now. Maybe on Monday I will show you. It's somewhere I created one project which uses Font Awesome, and it very nicely I have used it. You can use same way as I have used it. Yeah, maybe I can use business one. Yeah, let's try this one. Maybe it's here. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, so these are the Font Awesome used and made it look like nicer. Can you see this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this way people use it, the Font Awesome, to make the look nicer of the website. So let's see what I have used. I did this long back, 2-3 years back. So what I did here, so I put span to FA4X. So I was right now putting FA5X individually, but we have to put it in the main span. so it will increase as a whole. Did you see that one? I was just putting now, I was putting only in the one level, so it was only growing at one side. If we put FA4X to the whole one, so let's say if I copy this one and I put this here, and instead of FALG, if I use, and instead of LG plus if I use FA4X, it will grow in size as a whole. So here I will put. Right now I was putting here inside here, so it was growing only one level, not as a both full. So now it goes overall,
Nice.
right? So we have to use in the main level, main span, not in each individual. If I do individually, I was getting only individual size in the bigger size. Other size was remaining same. So we have to do this in the main. Let's put it 5x. Yeah, there's not much difference, or maybe it's not refreshed. Yeah, it's a little bigger. So it, yeah, so we will build this whole website in Bootstrap sometime after this one, because this is the exercise website which I generally teach to students, and the one which we will do, you know, we will do about life reminder. We will meet the team. So here, let's say my photo will come, my name will come, my description will come, and my details will come. Here I will put Carrie's name, detail, and her information. Here Kate will come, Kate's will want. So this will be the team for the Meet Life Reminder project. So who has developed the life reminder? So I will be creating this same part in the life reminder, and we will put three things. One is my name, your name, and Kate's name. If we have more developers, we can add here also. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to put your name, man, if you don't want to put, then I will not put. But my name will come definitely. You know, in that letter, after a few years, you can say in the resume that I have built this, and your name will be there. So people can also see, okay, yeah, you built this website. So in our life reminder project, you remember we have about us or about us kind of page where I will be creating some dummy explanation, and then we will be putting this image plus details, so that on every our website, whoever the student will work on that website, I will put the name of his or her. So let's say if we have 10 students in some project, I will put all the names of 10 students. But right now we are only 3. So I will put the name of 3 people. And we will build this kind of thing in Bootstrap in some time, not now, but after a couple of months when we are done with JavaScript, Angular, where this is pretty simple. With Bootstrap, a lot of things are ready-made. I don't have to do much, investment in my work on this website. It's very simple website with, it looks like very nice because of Bootstrap thing. Otherwise, making it is very simple. We will complete this very quickly.
So what part of this is like JavaScript? Is there,
In
do you
this,
write any custom JavaScript for this?
no, I haven't written any custom JavaScript. Only part is this is the ready JavaScript available, which show this. Otherwise, everything is CSS. This only animation is little bit JavaScript. Otherwise everything is CSS. So let's say if we don't put this animation, so it will be looking like this only, and we will build CSS only, no JavaScript. Okay, for this we will not put any JavaScript kind of thing. We'll just put simple CSS website, and we'll put map, where are we located, something like that. Contact us if someone wants to contact us. So a lot of time went today on CSS part. So we will do JavaScript on Monday. Let's do our project today, because we have few minutes left for today's class. So have you completed the add reminder, list reminder in your home? Have you completed?
I'm tried and I'm right now at halfway to
Okay.
finish the list reminders.
Okay. If you feel difficulty, just let me know tomorrow. On Monday, I will fix that one.
Sure.
Okay. So
Yeah,
just
on the
just wanted to show you one thing. In the login page, we used username and we saved the email. If I do some change here, blah blah blah, you will see that, let's say if I put some more thing, let's say one more line. Let's say if I put user ID, and here I will put something, let's say 2. Okay. If I put user ID here, then I don't need to join the two table. If I get user ID somehow here, then previously I was joining the two tables, right, to show the list reminder. But if I somehow get the user ID for the logged in user, then let's say if I put session user ID, then if I go to my reminder one, here I am joining the two tables, LR reminder with users, because I don't have user ID. That's the reason, with the help of email, I am trying to get the user ID. But if I save it here as a user ID, then I don't need to join it. Do I need to join the two tables?
No.
No, because I can directly get all my reminders from the reminder table by the user ID. I don't need this table. So once we are done with some part, let's say Monday or Tuesday, I will add the user ID part here, and then I will change here to take only from one table. No need to join. So we will avoid doing the join on Monday or Tuesday whenever we reach at that point, so that we decrease our burden of joining it. So the more you join, that means you are adding more complexity in the project, and it will be, you have to join if there is no way. But here I have the way. If I put it user ID, I can avoid the join. It's better to avoid join, but if you don't get any option, you have to use the join. Right now I don't have any option. That's the reason I'm using the join. Later on, once I will create the user ID, I will avoid this join. Okay, let's go to edit one. So we have to finish the edit part today. So we have done edit in our basic course. Now let's how to do edit one. First step is I have to attach the template. No, I have to use modify templates, apply template to the page. And I will apply template to the page. Now second step is I want the record set which I want to edit. If you remember the edit part, we need to create the record set which we want to edit it. So I will create a record set. I will name it RS edit, and I will go to simple type. I'll choose the connection, and I'll choose the reminder one, and I'll say where reminder ID is equal to URL parameter reminder ID, because I will pass the reminder ID from the URL, and the URL name will be reminder ID. So whatever reminder ID I will get in the URL, I want that record. So for example, if I pass in the URL, if I pass in the URL number 1, that means you have to edit the first record. If I want to edit the number 2, if I pass 2 in the URL, that means I have to edit the second record. If I pass 3 number in the URL, that means I want to edit third record. So whichever record I have to pass, I will pass in the URL with the reminder ID as a key. I will say reminder ID equal to 1 or reminder ID equal to 2 or reminder ID equal to 3, and then that record will be selected, and that record we have to show in the form, and then user will fill the form and we will update the record. Do you remember the edit part which we did in the basics? Have you practiced the edit part in the basics?
Yes.
So how we do? We create first a RS edit. We choose the record which we want to edit it. So here I am choosing the record which I want to edit it. Is this part clear how I am choosing it?
Yes.
Okay, so let's press OK, and then I will create a form which user will fill. So to create the form, I will go to the new reminder and I'll take the same form and I will edit it. So I will take the same form of the new reminder. Here is the edit reminder. So I took the form of the new reminder. I'll name it as edit reminder. I will not put this action. It will be inserted by Dreamweaver. And here I have a title, email, message, file link, radio button. That's user ID I don't need because user ID is already added. Reminder created it I don't need because we are not creating it. We are just updating it, and we don't need this also. We need just update link, update reminder. Now we have to go to the design view and we will go to each field. Let's say I click the title. I will click this dynamic bind to dynamic source. I will click this and then I will choose the title because I want to show the title to the user that you have previously added this title. I will click this message. I will click the dynamic icon and I will click the message. Let's click the email part. Let's change to text one, otherwise Dreamweaver is not understanding what is email part. I'll click this email part and I'll say email to. I click this file link and I'll click dynamic part and I'll say file to. I'll click the active one, I'll click the dynamic one and I'll choose the status and I click OK. Once I say this one, that means whenever I load this page, this form will be pre-filled with the value which I already inserted for that record. So let's test this. I go to the list reminder. I will go to edit reminder .php and I will pass the reminder ID. What is the reminder ID? The record which we want to edit it. And I'll put record ID. Now let's see what I am displaying. Since I am not logged in, I will log in. Let's log in. Login success. I'll go to the reminder page. Go to the list reminder. And I will edit the first record. When I click the edit of the first record, you will see in the URL I am passing reminder ID equal to 1. If I choose the second record, you will see reminder ID is going as equal to 2. And all the data is pre-filled. How the data is pre-filled? The reason is I choose the record set, and because of the record set, I choose this record set RS edit. Because of this record set, based on the ID, I am fetching the data from the table. I am getting the data from the table. So if I pass here, it's saying reminder for my mom. If I pass 3 ID in the URL, it will say reminder for my friend because it is now fetching the third record. And then I can change. But if I change and if I click update reminder, nothing will happen because we haven't written the code for update part. Now I will go to the edit reminder I will click the insert button, I will click the application object, and I will click the update record. Since the form is created by me, I will not click the first link. I will click the second link, update record. And in the update record, I will choose the connection. Okay, before choosing this part, I need to create one hidden field. I will create one hidden field and I will name it as reminder ID. And I will choose the value in the dynamic, the reminder ID which we have in the record set. This ID is needed because based on this ID, we will update all the data. Now I will go to the insert one and I will go to application object. I will go to the update record. I will click the update record. I'll choose the connection. I'll choose the reminder table and I'll see every field is there or not. Reminder ID is there. User ID we don't need because it's only update. Title is there. Message, link status, reminder create date is not needed. After the update has done, we have to redirect user to list reminder because he will be able to see all the reminders again. And I will click OK. Now this update part is done. Now if I change it, my friend, I'll change friend 1, hello friend 1. I'll put some link, http google.com. I will make it inactive right now and I'll click update reminder. Okay, since maybe it was not updated, that's the reason it went to the same page. Let's try again. Let's go to the list page again and try again. So reminder for my friend, I'll click the edit button and I'll say my friend. I'll press enter and it is changed to my friend. I'll click again enter. I'll change friend 1. Hello friend 1. http google.com. I'll make it inactive. I'll update the reminder. So here it changed to google.com. Status is changed to 0 and we have friend1 at mkgalaxy.com. Is edit part clear or I should explain it again?
Clear.
And it is same as we did edit in the basics. There is no change. First we have to create the record set for edit. Then we have to make the form. Then we have to update record. There are 3 steps. First is record set, then create the form and update each field with the dynamic value which we get from the RS edit and then call the update record. Kate, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so try it. If you right now, if you watch it, you will see very comfortable. But when you do it, you will forget many things and you will be lost. And so after that, you will remember. Once you will do 1 or 2 times, you will remember it. So we are done with the reminder thing. Now let's understand the project little bit more and we need to see what we have to do. Now I created, let's say, all 3 reminders. And whenever I log in, I need to update my login date. This is my login date. So I haven't taken care of this part. That means once I log in, I want to update this, right? I want to update the login date. Why I want to update the login date?
To show
And
that.
Calculate the period that you haven't.
Right. So let's say if I log in on May 1st, today is June 30. That means I haven't logged in for 2 months, right? To know that how long I was logged in, I need to update this login date. So we will update this login date also now. So I created one page, if you remember. If you remember in the users, I created one page called as intermediate one. Here I will update the login date. Here what I will do? I will update the login date. So this is called update. So to use the update, I will again call same way. I will create a record set called as RS edit. Since I need to update, I don't need to insert. I need to update the login date. Once I log in, I need to update this date. Okay. So I will use RS edit. And which table I will use? These three tables I created for my personal thing. Don't worry about these three tables. You will update this ILR users. Now, what field you will choose? Because I am logged in. What will be the filter?
Email?
Email. What will be this part?
Session?
Session.
No.
Session. Yeah, it's a session variable because my email is saved in the session. And what will be value here? Which session variable I saved the email?
username.
Username. So I will put username here. And then I'll click OK. That means I will get the record. I will get the record for the email for which I was logged in. Now I will go to the insert. I will go to the application object and I will go to the update record and I will choose the record update form. Now I am not creating my own form. I am not creating my own form. So I will use record update form wizard. What I will use? Record update form wizard. I am not updating with my custom form. I want automatic form. So I will choose record update form. I will choose a connection. I will choose a table which I want to update. And I want to choose the RS edit record set from where we get the details. And which is the unique key. Unique key is user ID. And then I will choose the field which I want to display. So user ID will be the user ID, which is the user ID which user logged in. Email, I don't want to edit the email. Right now I am updating. So I don't want to edit the email now. Right now my task is only update this field. Which is this field? Login date. So I don't need any other thing. I will delete email. I don't need password. I don't need first name. I don't need last name. I don't need gender. I don't need birth year. I don't need created date. I don't need login date. I even don't need user ID because I'm not updating user ID. Okay, I need login date, sorry. I don't need flag. Yeah, I don't need flag. I don't need cron flag. I need only login date. So I'll click OK. So you will see login date is there. That means I am only updating the login date now. Now I will go to the login page. In the login page, there is a login server behavior. I will click the login server behavior. Now, instead of going to the login success page, I will go to the intermediate page because I need to update. Once user login, I want to update the user with login date. So instead of login success, I will choose the intermediate one page. I will click OK. Now let's try to log in. So I will choose many@mkgalaxy.com, password. Once I put the detail, I am redirected to this page, intermediate one page. Okay, and intermediate one page is after login. So we can put the restriction also, restrict access to page with username and password. And if username and password is not there, go to login page. Why I'm putting restriction? Because once user logged in, it is redirected to intermediate one, and that means he should be already logged in. So I can put restrict access to this page. And then I'll refresh this page. So I have the login date here. Tell me why I put restrict access to the page? Because once user logged in, I have the login information. So I don't want this page to be publicly available. This is only for the logged in user page. Now, once I click the login button, I am redirected to this page and user will not update the login date. Will user will update the login date?
No.
No.
No, we have to write a code which automatically updates the login date. We don't give the button to the user to update. This button is created only because to create this PHP code. I created this form. The reason is only I want to create the code which PHP has created this code, because I don't know how to update. For now, assume that I don't know the coding in PHP. So I want the Dreamweaver to create this PHP code to update it. And since Dreamweaver has already created the code to update it, I don't need any of this information below it. I need the last line maybe, but I don't need other things. So what I did, I deleted all the form. I don't need that. That form is only needed to create this PHP code, because I want to do automatic update of the login. I don't need the user to update the login date. Okay. Now we have to update the login date automatically. So how to update the date automatically? This is first time you are doing something, so it may be little difficult to understand in the first time. I will try to repeat it 2 times and then you can watch the video also. So before even I do something, I will write down what I am trying to do. If you see this intermediate page, this is the place where they are updating it. Let's put this here. This is the part where they are updating it. If you see, this is the update table name and blah 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 is there, right? This is the place where they are updating it. It needs the user ID and the login date. What will be the login date here? If I want to update manually, what will be the login date?
When the user signs in?
Yes, where the user logs in. So to get the login date, I will use the PHP code, which I already showed you many times, how to get the current time, that is this time. So instead of putting this login date, I will put current time, because I want to automatically put the time. User will not manually put. So here Dreamweaver was putting login date, but I have to put login date automatically. And what is the automatic date? That is the time. This is the time which passes from 1970, the second number of seconds which pass from 1970 till now. Is this part clear? The time part?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why I am putting time? Because I want to update the when user logs in. At that time I want to put. Now I want the user ID. Now from where I will get the user ID? Right now, if I log in, I have only email. But I want to update using the user ID. So from where I will get user ID?
Session?
Station. Station has only a username. That is the email. I will get the user ID from this RSEdit, because RSEdit is something where if I double click RSEdit, you will see I am getting the user based on the email. So I have the user ID. So I will get the user ID from RS edit. So what I will do, I will go to the binding panel. And I will take this user ID and I will put this here. And I will delete the post user ID. So I will get the user ID from this RS edit. Now RS edit part is written below and update part is written above. So when I update with RS edit, it will not really work because RS edit is created below. This is little tricky. Dreamweaver, we have to modify the Dreamweaver code. That's the reason it is tricky. We are not using same or as Dreamweaver has given us. We are little modifying it. So since RS edit, we need the RS edit to find the user ID. So, but the code is written after it. So I will delete the code after it and I will paste it above it. So that means here we are taking from the session, we are getting the details of the user, where one of the detail is user ID, and then we are updating the user ID using the code which Dreamweaver has created it. We will not create that code. But still this will not work. This is fine. We are putting the time and we are putting the user ID. User ID will be there because user ID is coming from this part. User ID is coming from this part. So user ID will be there, but this code will not work because we have the condition if the post is there. You know, Dreamweaver created the form, and when we were submitting the form, at that time update was happening. But right now there is no form. So there is nothing to post. Nothing to post. That means this variable will not be available. So this update will not happen. So how will I fix it?
Remove the if.
Remove the if. I will delete the if. And I will delete this part also. So what we ultimately did, we modified the Dreamweaver code. First we created the Dreamweaver code as it is to update the record. Then what we did, we moved this part RS edit above the update part. And in the update part, since we want to update the login date, we change it from post some variable to the time, that will be the current time. And we change it user ID because we don't have user ID. We get the user ID from the session. This is the part where we got the user ID from the session. And we are using this user ID to update the record. And this will update the record. Let's check this one. Let's test this one. Right now it is 303 in the end. Remember, it is 7303. If I refresh it, right now it's not showing it, but we will go to the Dream database and we'll refresh it. You will see login date is changed to 6243. It is changed to different one. Let's try again. If I refresh the page and if I refresh this one, so it is changing. That means whenever this page is coming, it is updating with the latest time. Are you able to see the time is changing?
Yes.
That means login date is changed to current time. But I want to send the user to success page because I am on the intermediate one page. I don't want user to sit on this blank page and watch my website broken. I have done my part. I created intermediate one page. I updated the login date, but now I want to redirect user to login success page because I don't want user to sit here and watch it the blank page. So there is one code in PHP which redirects user to success page. What is that code? It is called header. In the bracket, we put location and put colon, and we put the file name where we want to send the user to. We want to send it to login success.php. And I will put double quote end, and I will close the bracket, and I will exit out. Exit means don't go further. So these two lines of the code I am putting in the chat. These two lines of code help us to send user from one page to another page. So it will now automatically update the login date and it will send the user to login success. So user will not know that he landed on this intermediate page. He will not, it will be not visible to the user. It will be automatic. If I refresh the page, it will go to login success. Let's go try again. I am on this login page. I log in as. Now, as soon as I click login, it will go to intermediate page. That is intermediate one. It will update the login and it will redirect it to the login success page. User will not feel that its login date is updated. It's automatic. So I will click login. Let's check what is the login current login. So it is 6358. Remember this 6358. Now as soon as I click login, it goes to intermediate page, it updates the record, and then it moves to the login success. User was not able to see that intermediate page. But when I refresh this one, remember 6358. If I refresh it, it's saying 6393. So we are automatically updating the login date. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this task is done, that automatic login. So whenever user will log in, I will update the login date. So I will know that he has logged in recently or he has logged in the past. So we are done with this one. So to summarize this page, I will write down so that you can understand what we did. We did normal update. So what normal update is? Create RS edit, then go to the insert, application object. This is the normal insert. Sorry, this is the HTML. Application object, update record, record update form wizard. First we went normal way to update the record. Application object, something like that. I don't remember. Then we went to update record, update, and then we went to update form wizard, something like that, right? I don't remember. Let's check it again. It's application objects, update record form wizard. Okay, update record form wizard. We choose only login date in the form because we want to update only login date. And then we are done with this process. Then what we changed? We took this update part. We took this update part and we changed the time part and we changed this user ID part. Since we don't have user ID, we will get user ID from this RS edit record set. And since RS edit record set was below this update statement, we moved this part above the update statement. So we moved. You can watch video again to see how it works. We moved following part above update statement. Is this clear what we did?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we put header location to redirect it to new page. Okay, then we put header location to redirect user to success page using this part. So I will put this one. Try to watch video for this part and try to do it multiple times. This is the common way I generally update secretly. I did this in many projects. Whenever we want to do some secret thing, we do this secret thing and we direct user to another page. I will show you one practical example where we did secretly. This is called Trulia.com. Do you know Trulia.com?
Yes.
What is this? What is this
Real
website
estate.
about? A website about real estate. Okay, let's say if I search something, San Jose. Yeah, if I search something, Have you seen the CA San Jose, how it changed? URL got CA/San Jose. How did this happen? So we created one intermediate page. Whatever you are posting here was converted into this format, and it went to this page, and this page recognizes this format like this, and it creates the records like this. So in Trulia we did, if you see linkedin.com, so I was there in the Trulia. Can you see Trulia? In November 2009 to August 2010. So I was in the Trulia where I did this part. So when user was in this page, he was putting something, any city. Now city is in different format. When he was clicking search one, he was going to some middle page, intermediate page, and we were changing the URL to some format, and we redirecting to this. Let's say if I change now bed 2+, it is going to intermediate page, and it is constructing this URL and coming like this. Though user is not able to see this, it's very quick. It goes there and changes the URL. So this is the practical way we put the intermediate page where we do some stuff like this. Right now in our project, what we did, we updated the login date. But in Trulia, what I did, in Trulia, we created the URL in different format. Got this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is on the practical way we put something. So you don't have to remember any code. Just you have to rearrange the code, and you have to change this part, that is the time, and you have to change the user ID. Because since user ID is not there, we use this part to get the user ID, and we update the user ID. So that's it for this one, this part, update the login one. On Monday, we will see if login date is past 1 month, then we will send the flag, send the email, change this flag, and change the date. We will do these two parts. So these two parts will be cron. Cron means it will run automatically. It will be simple PHP page, like we build intermediate one. It will be like this page, but it will do these two things. It will check first login date, and then it will do these two calculations. Got it? So try to do this, what I did. It is very easy what I did today, but you will feel complicated because you are doing it first time. And I have done this 100 times. So for me, it is very easy. For you, it is very difficult. But when you do multiple times, it will be easy for you after a few days. Only thing you should understand the concept what I did. And then this will be used in almost all the projects. Whatever projects I have done, this funda, I have to use it. I have to create some intermediate page where I do calculation and redirect user to another page. So that's it for today. We did not did the JavaScript part today. And in CSS part, some part which I have done long back, I will create examples for those.